Hey class, and Dr. Herzog. This is Whitney Howell, and today I'll be discussing with you my review over the City of Frisco's 2014 annual budget. Now, this city has actually received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award since 2008, and this will be their 6th year if they keep this streak up. So let's go ahead and discuss the many reasons as to why the City of Frisco is capable of continually receiving this type of budget award. For starters, in their general fund revenue, their largest revenue source is the ad valorem taxes. Now, ad valorem taxes are actually determined by this city by two major factors, one being the total assessed value that's established by the central appraisal districts of Collin County and Denton County, and the tax rate established by the City of Frisco's City Council. Now, this tax rate actually brings in almost $43 million, which is 40.6% of the total general fund revenue sources. And these are property taxes. And for the city, actually, the property tax rate did not increase from 2013 to now. It actually stayed steady at 0.46191 per every $100 of assessed value. Now, the reasoning that this tax rate did not increase from 2013 to now is actually because they have two main goals. One being to try to maintain services without an increasing tax rate, and number two being that the fund trying to fund operational increases that are due to increasing service level demands created by the growth of the population. Now, another source of revenue for the city is actually in their other taxes category. In this category, sales tax, beverage tax, and franchise taxes all fall under this category. Franchise tax being electric, phone, cable, and gas. And the three of these taxes combined, they actually bring in a little over $43 million to the city. Another source of revenue is actually the enterprise funds. Now, this includes water, sewer, engineering services, and other, which is interest, damage repairs, miscellaneous, any transfers that they may do, etc. Water is actually their main source of enterprise fund, and this brings in close to $40 million, which is over half of all of the combined sources. Sewer comes in at second with $20 million, almost $21 million. Engineering services, and last was $700,000, and the other category, whatever falls into that category, bringing in a little over $2 million. And in regards to their financial health of the entity, the tax rates have actually maintained the same level since last year. Their assessed value increased from last year by 4.52%. And the overall increase in taxable value is 7.85%. Now, I actually got to interview one of the professionals that handles the budget. Her name was Jennifer Hunt, and she is the Assistant Financial Director. She expressed her value over and over and over, the value that she puts on the citizens and the city. She and others also put a lot of value on the citizens. They actually, the citizens are one of their main reasons as to why they make decisions like they do. She explained that the revenue, the income that comes into them, it goes out to the departments who need it the most. So anywhere that they're lacking, they make sure that those departments actually get first dibs, I guess you could say, on their revenue income. And the reasoning that she puts so much emphasis on their citizens is because they strive to have a community that focuses on creating a lifestyle for those citizens to be able to live, work, play, etc., and just be happy. And so that's why they put so much focus on their citizens. It's one of their main values. Now, one of the sections in the GFOA criteria sheet that I found to be very, very important actually was the document-wide criteria section. Now, this included whether or not the document was usable and understandable, whether a common person could actually figure out what was actually going on. So I believe it to be one of the most important sections. To me, it kind of is the glue to any budget, especially the City of Frisco's budget. The City of Frisco actually did a very good job at making this budget usable and understandable. And yes, a common person is able to read and assess the City of Frisco's budget easily, very easily. And I believe that a budget that's well put together allows for the ability for someone to actually back up the information and the data that they're trying to portray to the reader. So as long as they actually have an understandable budget, they're capable of their credibility is actually higher than normal if their budget wasn't understandable. And it's eye-catching and inviting to the reader. Another area is a concern with mine that I find very important are their tables, charts, and graphs. Now, in the city of Frisco's budget, their tables, charts, and graphs are actually color coordinated. They're all the same colors. They're brightly colored, they're eye-catching, and they're easy to read and connect to the information that's being portrayed and discussed. And they're actually formatted properly. Through my past experiences of looking at different budgets, I found that you'd have to zoom in super much where it almost wouldn't even fit on your screen, and even then it was all off. The dots for the line graphs, everything, the plot graphs, everything was off. So the city of Frisco actually did a very well job at formatting their charts and everything properly. That way it doesn't cause a fiasco when someone's trying to decipher what they're talking about. Now, areas for improvement. Although I find the glossary very satisfactory, I do find that it does need to be updated and improved. Now, even though that this budget was very efficient and effective, there's always room for improvement no matter what. So glossary is one step that I would take in improving this budget, because in the GFOA criteria sheet, you'll find that they ask if capital expenditures were defined, and I looked within the budget. It was not defined, so I went, my second guess was to go to the glossary to see if it was defined back there, and it also was not defined. So there's a few words that are missing from the glossary that I find a common person would need definite non-technical definitions to fully understand the budget. And I believe that ways to mitigate this situation actually would be bringing in a common person, not necessarily related to the budget or having any type of budget experience. I believe them evaluating the budget as one evaluator would give the budget process a whole new perspective. That would give them a new perspective on how the common person and the citizens that they hold of high standard, how they see the budget, and I think it would help them improve in many ways. One thing that Ms. Hunt actually expressed in her semi-annoyance with this was the report systems. She did not seem too happy when she was discussing this topic, because they get reports into them and they are not comprehensive enough. They don't, they're misunderstanding, they're misled. So this requires the city of Frisco to actually have to use a report system called Crystal Reports to help them. And she didn't say this, but I could tell that it was just one of those things that she wishes could be fixed ASAP. Now, from my perspective of it all, ways to mitigate that type of situation would be more training. And to implement more training would just be to bring in people that know what they're doing, know how to do a report, know how to make the reports comprehensive enough for understanding. Bring those people in to train and retrain everyone in the budget process. And that's one way that I would see fit to mitigate those situations. Now, to discuss a major roadblock that this presentation brought to my attention was even though that you may have a very efficient and effective budget, that does not mean that you're going to have very efficient and effective professional people that are willing to help you. For example, I actually called 4 people in this budget process, one being the city manager, 2 assistant city managers, and Ms. Hunt, the assistant director, finance director. Ms. Hunt, she basically gave everything to me. She was very helpful in everything that I asked her. I did try calling all of these people multiple times, but I'm assuming that they were just very busy and could not return a phone call. So I decided to email all of them, and I finally got an email back from one of the city assistant managers, and he told me that he would not be of any help to me, which I understood. It's fine if he does not have much information on the budget process. So he pointed me in the direction of people that I had already tried speaking to. He forwarded the email I sent to them and him to them as well. And I finally got a response back from the city manager, who said that he was busy and would love to talk with me and would love to answer any questions as long as it could be through email. And I got the same response from the assistant city manager. So, with saying that, I actually sent them many questions and told them that if they did not feel comfortable answering all of the questions, they didn't have to, but that I would be looking forward to their input. Now, so I waited for a week or two and got all of my information I could possibly get from Ms. Hunt. I decided to send an email to both of them, the assistant city manager and the city manager, to touch base with them, which they did not respond to. I sent a second email 2 days later to touch base with them again, and their response was that we understand that Ms. Hunt has already helped you. And that was it. So I emailed them back and let them know I really wanted their professional opinion as well, and they never responded to any of those emails. So, with saying that, all they did was piggyback off of what Ms. Hunt said. They actually copied the emails that her and I had been having into their email and said that clearly their answers would be the same as Ms. Hunt's. However, I found that to be very unprofessional due to the fact that they hold higher positions and they each have a different type of responsibility in the budget process. So I was really disappointed with the way that they handled the situation. So in saying that, don't expect to have an efficient and effective budget. Don't expect that to reflect the efficiency and the effectiveness of the people who create it. So other than that, the City of Frisco's budget was actually very satisfactory and outstanding. It did pass the GFOA criteria sheet that I did an evaluation on, and with saying that, I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you for listening.